Hey everybody, we're here at IDEX and we've been visiting the TGT stand for the last week, and Ben from Airbag Man is here with us. So Ben is the business development manager for Airbag Man, and since we're installing Airbag Man into the vehicle, I've already got a couple of questions on the first video that went out, so I thought, well, why not? We've got the expert over here. You work for Airbag Man. I'm going to throw a couple of questions at you.
Yeah, sounds good.
And then, maybe the viewers can pick up, and because I think there's a massive misconception, number one, about Airbag Man. I think people are thinking, well, generally people would go and take out the air suspension. I'm thinking about Range Rover in the past. Range Rover used to have issues with the airbags, and people are taking them out and replacing them with coil.
Yes.
But this is not a replacement kit, and I think that's the misconception about it, first of all.
Yeah, that misconception is there in the market. Majority of our products, the airbags are acting as a helper for the existing suspension.
Yeah.
So whether that be a coil-sprung vehicle or a leaf-sprung vehicle.
So we're not taking out, so I've got a suspension kit in my vehicle that's already set up for my weight of the vehicle, so it's an aftermarket suspension.
Yes.
I don't take that out and replace it with the bags.
No, these are simply assisting the existing suspension to help carry that load and also extend the life of that existing suspension components as well.
Okay, so we're not replacing it with airbags only. The airbags are going to be there to assist when I'm overloaded or you're putting a trailer.
Yeah, or
so
you've got a changing load.
Yeah, oh yes, of course. So especially the American pickups over here. Now, the F-150, I'm going to cut to, while I'm talking right now, I've got some footage of Brad with his F-150 with his concrete trailer on the back, and on the straight road it's fine, but as it was going through the dips on the beach, it was bottoming out completely. So the ride was still fine, but it was still bottoming out. So this is where...
Yeah, this is the real good, excellent benefit of the airbag itself, is that it'll maintain the correct suspension height of the vehicle, and it'll prevent that bottoming out. So you don't get that continuous whoop through when you're going through those.
Good old
tubes.
Ford Fairlanes.
That's it.
All right, so number one, so that's an assisting to when I'm changing loads, or I'm pulling a trailer, or hang on a second, but now, how's it going to change the ride? Because a lot of people only use their vehicles for weekends, right? So now on the weekend, come up and they stick in 200 kilos of wood and food and drinks, and now, but I'm using my vehicle as a weekly driver. How does that affect it?
Well, an airbag is adjustable. So when you do come to the weekend and you load up the vehicle, we can simply inflate the airbags to give you that correct height. Then when the load comes off for your everyday driving during the week, you deflate the airbags back down to a minimal pressure. So then you're basically back onto your normal suspension.
All right. Okay. So let's talk about the suspension right now, or the system. I've got a couple of choices, don't I? I can either inflate in the vehicle, and I've got a pressure gauge, or I can physically analog-wise by putting a compressor in. So just to run me through that.
Yeah, with all our kits, we start off with a basic form of inflation of the airbag. So each airbag has an airline that runs out to the rear of the vehicle, and we have a little Schrader or a tyre type valve at the rear of the vehicle. So if you've got your own portable compressor, or
we'll take a standard compressor, so your normal compressor that you'd be inflating your tires, and you'd basically hook this into the back of this side into the back of the vehicle, and I'd inflate it the way I'm inflating my tires.
Definitely, and you don't need a large portable compressor. The airbags are only a small volume, running lower pressures. So a simple portable compressor will easily do the job.
All right. So typically you would be running probably from about 5 PSI
up to around about the 50 or 60.
So
depending on the vehicle.
So, and you were discussing this with me earlier. It was not about the amount of PSI. It was about the height, right?
That's right.
So depending on, I might take 70 PSI to get the height right because my vehicle is that heavy. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
And if you change that load, you then need to adjust the pressure to maintain the correct height.
Okay. So I would generally, because my car's packed all the time, ready to go, but when I'm fully loaded with water and fuel, I would then just pump it up a little bit and it would adjust me. But as my fuel levels are coming down and I feel the vehicle's getting lighter, I could then bring it down to...
That's exactly right, yeah.
Okay, so we can now stop and fill it up from the outside. Now, you've got an internal kit as well that
Yes, we've got some onboard systems that gives you a more convenient, easier method of inflating the airbags.
And we got the system here.
This is a nice onboard system where we permanently mount a 12-volt compressor onto the vehicle, and we run through an onboard reservoir or tank. And then we have a range of control options for the airbags. So we can have a manual paddle switch to inflate and deflate each airbag independently.
All right.
We can have a wireless control, or we can even have automatic height control. So the advantage of having that onboard air also gives you additional functions such as tyre inflation.
Exactly. So now, because this is going to be plumbed in, even though I'm going for the manual aspect, I still can choose to have a tank. I don't have to have the digital gauge. So it's kind of like a Meccano set, like a Lego set. You can basically build it, go bags only, inflate with your own compressor, or I can go bags with compressor with the tank, without the digital gauge, still doing it manually as such from outside, or using the tank and using the compressor, and then I can utilize that to pump my tires, clean the car, the whole thing.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so I mean, most people have gone this way, and they've got a compressor and they've got their tank in the car already. So all we got to do is we've really got to plumb that to the bags. Okay, or you can get the full kit from you.
Yeah, and we also have options there as well, where if you already have your own compressor on board the vehicle, we can customise an air control kit to add our switches and gauges on, so you don't necessarily have to run the whole full system.
Okay. Let's talk about the two types of bags that you've got here, right? So you've got the bag that goes inside the coil, and then you've got the bellows. So what is the difference? Why do you have two different types?
Generally, with a leaf-sprung vehicle, you've got the ability to carry a larger load. And because of that existing suspension, we need to fix an airbag in there.
So basically, it's going where the bung stop is, really on the.
That's right.
So generally, you have that big little rubber bung stop. So this is actually going in the centre.
Yeah, most occasions with the kids, the bung stop will be removed, and then it's a simple addition of our airbag and our vehicle-specific brackets.
So it's basically you're replacing the U-bolts. Is that it?
No, the lower bracket will sit underneath the existing U-bolts and clamp to the axle. Okay. And then we'll actually have an upper bracket which mounts to the underside of the chassis.
Of course, because it's the opposite way around. You're replacing the bump stop. Yes. Okay. So your bellows are generally for leaf sprung.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and then we have
and or trailers.
Yeah, we do trailers, we do caravans. Yeah, there's many applications that anything with a leaf-sprung vehicle, we can provide this style of product for to assist that existing suspension. And then we have our coil helper kits. So if you're looking at your SUVs, your Land Cruiser 200s, your Y62 Patrols, we then offer this airbag here, which goes inside the coil spring completely, and it fills that gap inside the coil. So when the weight comes on, the same as in the other methods with the leaf-sprung vehicle, when the weight comes onto the vehicle and the suspension sags, it's just simply inflate the airbag, lift it back up to its correct height, and away you go. And it all results in a more stable, safe ride on the road.
And these are also pretty easy to install then. You don't have to replace the coils. You can run it in your standard coil. So I have let's stick with a Mitsubishi Pajero.
Yeah, well, Mitsubishi Pajero, for example, is very simple to install. You can actually install the airbag without removing the coil spring.
Oh, wow.
It's the simple lifting of the vehicle, letting the wheel hang, taking shock off your lower mount, and these airbags can actually be folded up. And we just feed it in between the widest opening in the coil.
And then push it
simply
through,
re-inflates,
and then connect it through to your...
run the airline, run it out to the rear of the vehicle, put your valves into a nice convenient location, away from any potential for scraping, and it's done, ready to go.
Now, the big question. Right. We have... The 70 series over here is not a big seller, not like Australia, not like South Africa. Hiluxes, Rangers, these things don't typically sell in this region. They are beginning to sell right now, but the American pickup range is colossal. Do you look after the F-150, the Silverado, the Ram, the 1500s throughout the map?
Yes, we've got kits available for all those vehicles.
And I'm glad you guys are going to be happy about that, because there aren't many manufacturers coming out of Australia, or South Africa for that matter, that are looking after the American trucks. And as you've seen on the roads over here, there's
plenty.
There's lots.
Well, the advantage of the Airbag Man suspension kit for these vehicles is that we've designed them specifically for each particular application. You don't have to modify it to make it fit. It's not a universal fitment. We've done the R&D on these vehicles to provide a nice, simple, easy to fit.
So basically, each of the clamps are obviously slightly different depending on the suspension or the vehicle, and then the length of the travel. So easy enough. Right. So. This is not an advert, but we'll be stocking Airbag Man pretty soon. So anybody that wants to know more about it, you can get a hold of Ben or myself, but locally over here in UAE, get a hold of me, and then we'll see if we can get something sorted out for their vehicles over here. But I'm excited with American vehicles. The guys have been moving to the States, trying to get it from the States, and a lot of the times when it arrives here, the guys are going to do a lot of customization on the actual footprint of the brackets, which if you've got it out the box, I think it's going to be a lot easier for you guys to install it and assist yourselves, especially with the guys that are pulling, sticking quad bikes on the rear, getting out into the desert, a lot of extra weight with water, wood, you name it. Got your airbag in there, and then during the week you just deflate it all the way down to 5 psi, so it's run standard, and you've got your normal pickup truck during the week, and weekends you can stick on a couple of quads and go and have fun. Ben, thank you so much for your time, mate.
Thanks very much.
And Ben must come visit us more often, so when we open up the store, we'll have you there, man.
I'll be back.
Alrighty then.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks.
Cheers.